It's the most wonderful time of the year。大家好，我叫洛曼，我是一个俄罗斯的 YouTuber。今天我要给你们我的汉语学习的故事。我4年学习汉语，而且我的汉语水平真不太好了。And now that I stopped flexing my absolutely terrible pronunciation and knowledge of Chinese, I would like to tell you guys a story about why and how I studied Chinese for 4 years and why I ended up quitting it and why I'm barely able to speak it today. Now, if you know a thing or two about me, then you might know that I'm actually Russian, и мой родной язык это русский. Лично я начал учить английский язык в возрасте где-то 6-7 лет. Мне очень понравился английский, я сильно влился в иностранную музыку, иностранную интернет-культуру и так далее, и в результате I speak English perfectly now, and if you even dare to suggest that I have a slight accent, I'm coming for your entire family and I know your address. Okay, being serious though, as a Russian who runs a YouTube channel in English with a Western audience, I've spoken about my story and my experience of learning English on this channel before, and I do get a lot of compliments from people saying that my mastery of English is absolutely insane and that I must be some sort of crazy polyglot that can just learn languages like this and can basically become completely fluent in any language I take upon. Well, in this video, I want to make you guys' opinion of me slightly worse because, well, I've studied Mandarin Chinese for over 4 years and, I really didn't get that good at it. Basically, when I was in my last grade of school in Russia, I was preparing for the final exams, ЕГЭ, and my plan after school was to go into university right away because, first of all, that's just kind of what people do, and second of all, I didn't want to go to the Russian army. Because in Russia, right after you finish school, you're usually already 18 years of age. That means you can be conscripted into the military and you have to serve 1 entire year. And I really did not want to do that. And obviously I had to pick my major. And the thing is that I wasn't really good at anything except the English language. I mean, I had generally good marks in school, but I wasn't particularly interested in any other fields other than foreign languages. So the logical thing to me was basically to go into translation and linguistics, which is what I ended up doing. And for example, in my university in which I studied, Chelyabinsk State University, I could pick Italian, Spanish, German, or French, as far as I'm aware, or Mandarin. And the thing is, to be completely honest, I did really want to study a European language. I was actually thinking about German. However, my family back in the day essentially sort of convinced me to take up Mandarin instead because Russia is friends with China or whatever. That was basically the whole logic back in the day. I didn't really know much about the politics of China or its regime or whatever. So I was like, okay, sure, Russia and China are best friends. If I learn Mandarin, maybe it would be easier for me to find a job later, you know? And that's really it. That's the sole reason why I picked the hardest language in the world. And that was that. Essentially, for the next 5 years, I was studying in university. I actually did graduate. I did get my diploma. I made a video about this back in the day too. So technically, yes, currently, I do have a degree in linguistics and translation from Mandarin to Russian and English. So 5 years of university, during 4 of which I actually studied Mandarin. The first year we didn't. So before I talk about what made it so hard for me, I'd actually like to test myself. First of all, here's this quiz I took back in the day when I was learning Chinese. How many Chinese characters do I know? Essentially, at one point, I think I knew a decent amount of characters, probably within a few thousand. I think I would have passed HSK 3. Although knowledge is like debatable, you know, it depends on whether you can read it or write it. Sometimes you can read it, but you can't really remember how to write it. It's a mess. But now basically guys, I think I remember like 3 characters because I haven't really done a lot of Chinese reading or writing in the past years after I graduated, so let's see how bad my knowledge of characters truly is. Let's select simplified because obviously, you know, I'm a communist, I studied in Russia, so of course it's gonna be the CCP standard. Okay, so what counts as knowing a character? You should know the pronunciation and know at least one definition for the character. Just knowing the pronunciation is not enough because many characters' pronunciations could be guessed, that is true. Okay, so we have bu, which is no, na, this means where, li, inside, this is pretty basic, dan, I don't remember what this means. Genuinely no knowledge of what it means, so I guess I'm not gonna pick it. This is din, drew, this one, chuan, chuan. Oh shit, right, fuck. Guys, this is embarrassing because this first row here, these are basic as fuck, okay? And I'm already having a hard time remembering even how to read some of these because I haven't had any practice for years now. Practice your languages, guys. Ah, fuck. Gan. Oh my god. Oh my god! I forgot. No. There is no hope for me, is there? I don't even know this. This is probably pronounced hi or something, or... Look, if you've never studied Mandarin, you wouldn't understand how guessing characters works. Essentially, when you learn a bunch of characters, there are similar things between different characters that sound the same, even though they are completely different in meaning and everything else, even in tone, whatever. So that's why I have guesses for pronunciation of these. Otherwise, I don't fucking know. This is either like hi or guy or something. Guy, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's guy. But I don't fucking remember. And I don't remember tones for anything either. I'm just so bad. This is dong, I'm pretty sure. Gong. I'm bad. I'm fucking bad at this. This is the most saddest thing about like forgetting Chinese is that you can't really read it once you forgot it, right? You can read a character that you see for the first time ever. And this was actually one of my main issues with studying Mandarin in the first place, is that studying and reading is just so difficult when you have characters that you don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fine if you're talking about a text on the internet where you can actually copy and paste. However, when you have like a Mandarin textbook or like any just text in paper form, in order to translate that, you have to know how to pronounce it in the first place, right? To even Google the translation of the words. So what you have to do is that you have to go on your phone, open Google Translate or some OCR app or something, try to scan it. A lot of the time, the scan is completely wrong. So you just get frustrated with the scan because it's shit and it, you know, missed like a couple of strokes on your character. So instead, what you end up doing is that you open up, like this is the one I used all the time, Pleco, not an advertisement. So what I would do is go on here, right? And then I would just draw a character, for example, like this, right? And it gives me it at the bottom here, so I can actually like click it. And basically you have to do this for every single character, and oh my god, it's such a pain in the ass. You know, whenever I was doing this, I was just thinking, man, why did I not like pick German or Italian, where I could actually use a Latin keyboard and just type this shit in and just know the translation and what it means immediately, you know what I mean? And I know what all the polyglots and language learners in the comments are gonna say. They're gonna just say, get good, you know, deal with it. Look, I get it, but when you study in the university, this shit is stressful. A lot of the times you don't wanna do it. And having to either scan your text or like manually draw the characters on your phone to even translate them in the first place, that took a lot of time away from my life. I have to be honest, it's very, very frustrating. But yeah, that's also my issue here, is that with a lot of these characters, I'm looking at them and I'm pretty certain that at one point I remembered very well what these characters meant. And I could read them for certain, and now I don't anymore. I can't remember anything. And I'm remembering only like the most basic characters there are. It is really sad to see my own downfall. Shou, this is hands. This is ba, which just means like nothing. Oh my god, no. That's the word for collar. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Okay, Bei, this is north. Wu is 5. Okay, this is Ru. How do I not know this, bro? This is... No, my memory is empty, guys. There's like that monkey smashing fucking, you know, two symbols together. That's what's happening in my head right now. 270 characters, guys.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I remember that once I took this test several years ago, and it was surely over 1,000 or over 2,000. So, I just keep getting dumber and dumber every single year, what can I say? And I was studying these characters hard, man. Like, I have countless and countless of my notebooks in which I was just writing down the same character over and over again for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages, trying to remember it. To the point, you know, where your arm can't really, you know, even write anymore because you're literally having like cramps because of how long you have been writing down Chinese characters for. This is what I've dealt with, you know. And you know, all the long nights where I was writing down these Chinese characters, you know, after each other for pages and pages and pages and pages, trying to remember it. In these moments, I was thinking to myself, why did I not just pick German? Why am I being so extra right now? You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, now that you know that I completely forgot every single Chinese character in existence, now let's actually talk about why I never really managed to study Chinese that well, or I guess so, keep my knowledge of Chinese after actually graduating university. Well, here's the thing. Essentially what happened is that I got carried away with other stuff. Initially, when I started learning Mandarin, it was very exciting. But soon after, unfortunately, it feels like my enthusiasm for Mandarin has kind of faded away. And there are a few reasons for that. First of all is, when I was actually enrolled into university, I already had a YouTube channel at that point. I had about 100k subscribers. I was doing MLG and stuff. And I've never really thought this was gonna be like a career for me or something. So I did actually want to get an education and get a decent job someday and become a productive member of society, unlike what I am now. And initially, once again, I was thinking that I'm gonna be either a Chinese translator, or possibly I was thinking that maybe I'm gonna be one of those guys that actually moves to China and becomes some sort of like English teacher there or whatever. And I was actually thinking, maybe life in China wouldn't be that bad, because China is clearly, kind of a more prosperous country than Russia, and I was already thinking about leaving Russia even back then. But essentially, over time, I basically kind of got, woke on China, and I realized that, they don't really have, the most free country ever out there. And leaving Russia in the search of a more free country and going to China is not really the most, logical thing you could do. Also, I believe another reason is that in my university in Russia, there was an opportunity to go and actually spend a whole semester or even a year in China studying Chinese there. And actually a bunch of people from my class, even a bunch of people from my university, they did go. And quite obviously, once they came back from China after spending a whole entire year there, their knowledge of Chinese and their ability to speak and understand improved amazingly. And once again, you guys know how the story goes. I didn't end up going to China to study for a semester or for a year either, because I was doing other stuff at the time. I was doing my own traveling, I was going to Europe and stuff like that, as well working with my YouTube, etc. I just really didn't feel like doing it, kind of. Now, as far as with my studies in university with Chinese, I was actually doing okay. I actually had pretty decent grades in Chinese and everything, and I was trying. However, I really do feel that after year 3 of university, 3 out of 5 this is, right? I really kind of gave up on it in a sense. Because I studied Chinese not really for the self-improvement, but just to pass the classes and just to sort of do the bare minimum for the classes. I'll never actually go as far as I went with English, watching English content and playing games in English, etc. There was really no practice for me. I didn't really speak Chinese to anybody online. I didn't really consume any content in the Chinese language, etc. What happened is that I basically gave up. And I was like, man, I guess Chinese is over for me, I can't really seem to get into it. I'm not really in the cultural sort of sphere, I'm not listening to Chinese music or watching Chinese movies. All I'm doing every day is English, 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 English. All of this is practice. In Chinese, I was getting zero practice, and a lot of it is my fault. And I'm not saying that me not being able to learn Mandarin is Mandarin's fault. It is absolutely my fault. In fact, actually, for a lot of my studies in university, running a YouTube channel at the same time was really, really difficult. So a lot of the time, I would basically get like 2 hours of sleep every day, and for like 2 years in university, I was basically just known as the guy who sleeps all the time, at every single class, because I genuinely could not stay awake, ever. There's like a whole collection of images that my classmates have from uni, just of me sleeping. Yes, this is like a real thing, this was like a meme. This is what studying Chinese and studying in university and making content at the same time does to a man. I've gone through fucking hell and back. And also, once again, to be honest guys, I don't even know if I'm allowed in China. Like, I genuinely do not know if it's safe for me to come to China, you know what I mean? I actually don't really think I've ever said anything crazy about China, but maybe just the fact that I have a video with Lao Wai and Serpent ZA is already enough. So yeah, my YouTube channel, it's kind of ruining my ability to be in certain countries such as China and Russia. So I don't know if I'm even able to go there, right? So why would I continue practicing it and learning it in a sense? I mean, there's still Taiwan. I could still go there and practice, but they use traditional Chinese characters. I mean, I just can never win, can I? And long story short, this is pretty much why I quit Mandarin. And actually, right after I graduated university, my new life started, I'm finally free, I finally have no homework to do. So I decided to just completely forget about Chinese, and I haven't really practiced speaking, reading, or listening to anything in Chinese for, I graduated in 2020, so when you don't practice a foreign language, you just start forgetting it, and that's what's happened to me with Chinese. If I did have some knowledge before, I completely forgot it, and all the characters I knew, I completely forgot them. I can speak sometimes still, but I don't really remember some basic grammatic construction or basic words at this point. So moral of this story, guys, is learn your languages and don't stop learning them and practice them. Because if you guys do not want to waste 4 years of your life like I did, if you spent long nights writing down Chinese characters, don't give it up, or otherwise you'll end up like me. A fake polyglot who only knows 2 languages, Russian and English. Anyways guys, I guess that is going to be pretty much it for today's video though. I just wanted to tell my story of how I tried and failed learning Mandarin. Yeah, unfortunately I never managed to learn Chinese that well, and it is a burden that I'm gonna carry on myself until the day I die. But anyways guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video though. If you guys did, then please make sure to slap the like on it. And once again guys, if you do like this channel, if you do want to support what I do, then go over to the link down in the description and become a YouTube member. It's basically like YouTube's own version of Patreon, and it's the best way to support me. Or if you want to do a one-time donation, you can do a super thanks underneath this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace.